good, all my trader and investor homies? Welcome to Touchdown Trades, the #1 stock market trading and investing channel on all of YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a penny stock that is taking on Big Pharma. They're trying to clean up the mess that Big Pharma left in the late 1990s all the way through the 2000s. Big Pharma was pushing their opiates even though they knew what was going to happen. They saw the dollar signs and they pushed their opiates on the United States and the rest of the world, and it has left a huge aftermath. It has left addiction numbers at all-time highs, and the penny stock we're going to be breaking down today is using psychedelics to try to help these addicts through recovery. This is a story that hits home with me, as opiates have affected me and my family personally. So this is a big deal for me, and we're going to be breaking down this penny stock. These psychedelics we're going to be talking about today are not the psychedelics that you pick up a bag of magic mushrooms on the way to a Dave Matthews concert. Not saying that I've done that before, but this is different. This is medical psychedelics, using DMT to help opiate addicts get off that treadmill, the cycle of recovery. You want to stop, but you can't stop because opiates are extremely physically addicting. You want to stop, and then you get sicker than you've ever been before. So this penny stock is using psychedelics to help break that cycle. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, the penny stock we're going to be breaking down today is Entheon Biomedical Corp, and they are using psychedelics to help break the cycle of addiction, and more specifically opiate addiction. If you guys have ever had opiates affect anyone in your life, you know the power and the destruction that they can bring into the world. They're literally the devil, and this Antheon is trying to help expedite the recovery process. Too many people who suffer from addiction to opioids and other illicit substances continue to struggle in silence. In many cases, they depend on conventional treatments that might not work for them or may have unanticipated side effects. The numbers are staggering, as addiction can destroy marriages, friendships, careers, and threaten a person's basic health and safety. We need to find a way to help people get off the opiate rat wheel. So you want to stop using opiates. You've been using them. You're physically addicted. So you have to use them, because if you don't, you get sick. And then once you use them, you say, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to be using them anymore. I'm quitting. But then you wake up the next morning and you start to get sick, and it's just a huge cycle that you have to keep feeding the monster. Nearly 21 million Americans have at least one addiction. Drug overdose related deaths have more than tripled since the 1990s, and that can almost single-handedly be attributed to the opioid crisis that we are currently in the midst of. Alcohol and drug addiction cost the U.S. economy more than $600 billion every year. So not only is this company trying to do good for the community, they are also entering an emerging market. And as investors, sure, we want to be conscious about helping the community, and we want to look at companies that are doing good for not only the United States, but the rest of the world. But as investors, we also have a financial obligation to our account. So we can't just invest in companies that are trying to help people, because that's not why we're investing. We're not doing this for philanthropy. We're doing this to make money. And in this case, you get the best of both worlds. You get a company that's trying to help people, and you're also getting a company that's entering into an emerging market that is being left. A huge void is being left. You had the pharmaceutical companies like Purdue come in, push their opiates. They got caught and they got stopped. Now you have millions and millions of people around the world addicted to these opiates, and they are looking for help. Here comes Entheon Pharmaceuticals. They are using a psychedelic called DMT to treat addiction. When it comes to treating addiction, the rate of success is so low that society has been conditioned to accept and even accept failure. The manner of thinking is both unacceptable and counterproductive. There is a need for an alternative approach that addresses the human cost of addiction for individuals, families, and society at large. We are developing a DMT-assisted therapeutic protocol that will be specifically tailored to address the core mechanisms of underlying drug seeking and using behavior. Our chief aim is to provide an effective, scalable therapeutic protocol that will serve as a vital resource for those afflicted with a substance abuse disorder. According to the CDC.gov, in 2018 alone, these are the most recent numbers I could find, 67,000 people plus in the US alone overdosed. And those numbers are staggering. That is absolutely too much. Take a look at this graph here, which shows the number of deaths by country per million of people aged 15 to 64, and the United States coming in leading the pack with that horrific number of 314 people per million dying of drug overdoses. That is absolutely crazy, and that is going to be attributed to Big Pharma and the opiate crisis. Big Pharma pushing their oxy and then getting busted and leaving a huge void, and that huge void is going to be dollar signs for a company like Entheon, because there's a need for alternative treatments to this crisis. What we've been trying apparently is not working. Let's talk about some recent news PRs that Entheon has came out with. They just entered into a clinical phase 1 trial with the Center for Human Drug Research, which is really big news for Entheon. They are progressing the steps they need to take in order to get this psychedelic treatment to market. So when the news came out, Entheon said, "This is a significant milestone in our mission to develop therapeutic protocols to treat substance abuse disorders. We believe that the CHDR's renowned expertise in conducting early-stage clinical trials and their use of innovative technology makes them excellent CRO to partner with." So this is what the CEO of Entheon said, Timothy Ko, and he's basically saying that this is a really world-renowned clinical stage trial partner that they're teaming up with to try and get these psychedelics to market. It's a big step in the right direction for Entheon. Entheon has also partnered with DJ Ski, aka Scott Kinney, as a media advisor, and I think it's going to be important for Entheon to have some media personalities out there kind of destigmatizing psychedelics. The average person thinks of psychedelics as kind of your party drug that you go to a concert and you eat some acid or some magic mushrooms and have a good time. But we need an alternative approach to looking at this opioid crisis, because the treatments that we've been applying are overwhelmingly not working. And if they can kind of narrow in this DMT and get it to work, even if it works at a clip of 10 to 15%, that is much better than what is out there now. So Entheon is both traded on the OTC markets here in the US and on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Canadian ticker is ENBI. The US ticker is ENTBF. All right, got the chart pulled up. So this stock has been extremely strong, making a move from under 50 cents a share in November, 100% plus to the upside, and it is currently at $1.20 per share. So the stock has obviously been very, very strong. As the sector starts to get more attention, I would not be surprised to see the psychedelic sector start to make some big moves out there. So my personal opinion is what we've been doing with the opiate crisis isn't working, and that's pretty obvious. And these pharmaceutical companies are savage. They left a huge void out there, and there needs to be some alternative approaches tried at a minimum. And I think something like what Entheon is doing with this DMT could work, and if they can get those FDA approvals, then we're talking about big business. This was a sponsored video, guys, but I did offer my own opinion. I was not told what to say, so do your own research, do your own due diligence, and contact a financial advisor before making financial decisions, as I am not a financial advisor, obviously. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.